Living in California, probably most of us know at least someone who has made an undocumented and harrowing journey from Mexico to the U.S. Nora Razon was one of these immigrants, but her story is slightly different from many and frequently defies any stereotype. At almost every turn, by choice or by chance, things have been turned upside down or taken on a crucial twist. After living several years in this country, she now works at the primary school in East Palo Alto, creating a new model that integrates health and education with parent supports.
There was a significant amount of violence early on in my life and in my family's life, a lot of which we're still healing from. My dad was an alcoholic, probably still is, not really in my life anymore, and he was violent. He physically, emotionally violent towards all members of my family, and that really tainted a lot of my childhood. At one point, I went to foster care. Early on, it's one of my earliest memories, being 3 years old, being taken by social services, and it really, it's one of my earliest memories. It's also one of my hardest memories, and I think it's a hard memory for my family, because it was, now we were out, domestic violence is a very private matter. And having social service get involved now makes it a public matter. And so it's always been something that we don't talk about, but it's something that I remember very vividly. For me, I've realized that I actually picked up a lot of resiliency through that experience, and it actually exposed me to a different reality that I think really helped me through other experiences in my life, where I went to a couple foster care homes where there was families that talked to each other, that where children played and there wasn't fear, where I felt cared about and not in fear of the adults. And so for me, it really helped me see that there was another way of being in a home and another way of interacting with parents and parents interacting with their kids. And so for me, it helped me come back, when I did come back to my family, to, even though when the violence continued or came back again, I didn't normalize it anymore. I knew that that wasn't right.
Another kind of flip side, you went through the harrowing experience of an illegal immigration to the U.S., went back to Mexico, and you were the outsider. Tell me about that.
It was unexpected to go to school and then realize that I didn't understand as much Spanish as my parents thought I did. And I definitely didn't sound like the other children in the classroom. So it was a humbling experience to be not an English as a second language learner, but a Spanish as a second language learner in the country I was born in.
Wow. Nora became an outsider again in 6th grade when she returned to East Palo Alto and had to relearn the English language and learn the emerging language of computers. Against great odds, she not only caught up, but became the go-to tech expert at school, all the while under the weight of the secrecy of her undocumented status, even as she entered College Track, a program designed to help immigrants get to college.
It was really easy for me actually to forget that I was undocumented in that space, except when I had to apply to college, because that was kind of the whole point of the program, right? That you're going to apply to college, but then I hadn't shared that I can't apply to college. I finally broke down and shared that I was undocumented, and I apologized, I remember, because I felt like I had let them down. You've invested all of this time on me and I can't actually go to college. And so as I opened up about being undocumented, Marshall Lott, the director, asked the question, Nora, do you still want this? And I said, yes, I still want this. And so he said, we're going to figure it out.
College Track helped her gain entrance to and graduate from San Francisco State University. Around this time, she discovered a little-known pathway to citizenship, whereby she could self-petition if she could show evidence of domestic violence in her home.
So I remember going to the social service office and asking for my record. And it took like 30 minutes for her to come back, and then she gave me like this stack of papers. Here's your file. And then I start opening up these documents and start reading about the experience that my family and I had had at 3 and 4 years old through social services, and what the abuse had looked like, and what had prompted the foster care experience. And it took me like 20 minutes of reading through these documents to like have a realization of like, wait, this is me they're talking about. This is my story. I have experienced this. This is my life. And in that moment, I realized how connected my undocumented status was to the violence in my home.
After a lifetime of violence, displacement, secrecy, and uncertainty, Nora became a U.S. citizen in May 2016 and vowed to transform her own suffering into helping others on the same journey. She brings a deeply personal compassion to the families she now serves.
I'm working at a new organization where we are working on, providing great education and trying to integrate health into what we're providing for students, but also working with their parents. Really, in working with their parents, because as an organization, we believe that if we're not working with the parents, then there's only so much we can do for the children, because their parents are their first teachers, and there's so much that they shape about a child's life. I really think that my mom would have been a different person as a mother, as a woman, had she had extra supports. Bringing a lot of that, my personal experience, to how we're designing this program so that we are reaching the families that may have private lives that they're not bringing into their public spheres. So that's informed by my experience, and I have a lot of hope that what we're going to do is different, and that I'm the right person to do this work.